Yeah. Throw it up. Throw it up, Billy. Throw them up.
Oh, I'm sorry. I missed it.
There you go. Yeah, there's the thumbnail right there, baby.
That's the thumbnail.
What is going on? It's your boy, President Fat Samurai Guy, back again with the 8th episode of the Yin-Yang series, the new series Mealy and director Billy Handsome has put together and created just for an excuse for us to review two movies that are the complete opposite, just for fun here on the channel. And it gives Samurai a chance to once in a while review something, think a little bit outside the box than the usual action, martial arts, and horror. But we do have a horror movie to talk about tonight. And I can't be talking about no horror without the motherfucking Gear Brothers in the house. What is going on?
Woo. It's Samurai.
Good to be here, man.
Man.
Thanks for having us.
Oh yeah, it's always epic when the Gear Brothers and Samurai Guy hang out. And Billy, good to have you back, brother. Good to see you again.
Thanks, man. You too. I'm excited about this one.
Yeah. He's been messaging me a couple of days leading up to tonight, and he's like, "Oh yeah, talk about this.
Yeah, we'll talk about
stuff. We're gonna have some fun." But that's right. Check out Bone Cold, psychological horror thriller directed by Billy Hansen, and of course, check out The Retaliator's Son, written by the Gear Brothers. That's right. Make sure you guys check those movies out. We got people watching right now. Brandon's throwing it up. That's right. He threw it up with us when we did it earlier. That's right.
Right.
Oh, there we go, all the way from the UK. Good to see. Let's get to the yin to the yang. It's good to see you, brother.
Let's yin our yangs, guys. Let's yin our yangs.
I don't Billy. I don't know, man. Your recommendations are starting to creep me out, man. It's like you're seeing into the future.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, it's like because I interviewed, action director Jude Poyer, and he had a poster of "In the Mood for Love" by him, and then I don't know if it was the next week or a couple of weeks later. I was like, hey, what do you want to review for the next Yin-Yang? And Billy's like, hey, let's do In the Mood for Love. Look at my poster in the background. Yeah. I was like, what the hell? And then I interviewed Jesse V. Johnson, another action director legend, and he had a huge, gigantic poster behind him of Point Blank. And then a couple of weeks later, I'm like, hey, Billy, what do you want to review? And he's like, hey, let's do Point Blank. I'm like, oh, my God.
All right, so who's guilty for recommending Antrum? Where did that come from?
That was my recommendation.
That was you, Samurai? Oh, boy.
Yes, but I'm going to get to why. I'm not giving
you flack. I haven't given my opinion yet.
Okay. This is going to be interesting. I don't know what everyone's going to think. This is going to be interesting. Despite what I'm going to say about Antrum, I'm really happy we're going to talk about it because it's always fun, whether it's good or bad.
Mm-hmm.
It's always fun talking about movies. And it's good to see everyone. Gunman from Canada. That's right. We got UK and Canada represented. Wow. Good to see you, brother. All right, let's go ahead and jump right into it. First up, we're going back in time to the 60s. I said 70s there. With Lee Marvin's Point Blank. Don't forget, everybody watching, these will be spoiler reviews. So letting you know upfront spoilers. Billy, plot synopsis for Point Blank.
All right. After being double-crossed and left for dead, a mysterious man named Walker single-mindedly tries to retrieve the money that was stolen from him.
Nice.
Straightforward to the point.
Yeah. IMDb didn't. That's pretty good for an IMDb plot synopsis.
Yeah.
Compared to the plot synopsises we usually get from IMDb. Stuff happens.
It's a give me my money movie, right?
Yeah.
There you go. Thank you. Yeah, exactly. When I was watching this, I was like, man, I wonder if what is it? The Mel Gibson movie, Payback?
Yeah.
It was reminding me of Payback a little bit. I was wondering if whoever wrote Payback was a fan of Point Blank. I wonder.
I actually just read a piece of trivia about that. So they're both based on the same book, basically. And apparently Lee Marvin loved the character in Point Blank, but he didn't like the script. And it was revealed later that the script resembled Payback a lot more than Point Blank. And so they basically threw out the script for what later became Payback to make Point Blank instead.
Whoa.
Yeah. Damn.
blowing my mind with the research here.
I just read that like 10 minutes ago. And I was like, oh, cool.
No, that's perfect because I was definitely getting similar vibes from both movies. Let's go ahead and talk about the legend here. Lee Marvin is great in this movie. He is great. And there is a reason for this.
Look at that suit. Look at that suit.
Yeah, I know, styling, right? Yeah, there's a reason for this because he is betrayed, and I love how the movie just right off the bat gets straight to the betrayal. You know, at first, you know, when he meets up with what's his buddy's name again?
John Vernon, baby.
Yeah,
dude, John Vernon was
Reese.
Vernon is like a pimp in this movie.
Oh, every movie, dude. What are you talking about? Every movie.
Jeff and I are huge John Vernon fans. Like
He's the best, dude.
we just every time he's a slimy bad guy. I mean, he's only slimy bad guys. That's it. But anytime he's in anything, we always are like, dude, we found another John Vernon movie. It's like we love him.
Yeah, I recommend Charlie Varick for sure if you want a good John Vernon.
Ooh, all right. Yeah. Recommendations. If the
Awesome.
Gear Brothers give the recommendations, you know we got to check it out. I remember him a lot from, I know this is really obscure, which it makes it great because even the movie acknowledges, what the hell are you doing in this movie? I'm going to get you, sucker. Or sucker. I'm going to get you, sucker. One of the most funniest movies ever made. He plays Mr. Big. And as soon as he shows up on screen, they're like, what are you doing in this movie? He's like, hey, a lot of high-class actors play exploitation roles.
There's also a Linda Blair. Linda Blair did a flick in the 80s. I think it was called The Savage Streets.
Savage Streets. Great movie.
Yeah, and John Vernon's the principal in that movie, dude. And he is such a scumbag in that movie. That character,
that's awesome.
Like, it's amazing. Like he's like basically like victim blaming a rape victim as the principal, as a principal of the high school.
You know,
he plays a dirtbag better than anybody. I mean, he's such a good slime ball.
That voice.
Yeah, that voice. When you're great at something, you got to keep playing those roles.
Voice.
And it's so perfect in this movie too to play against that type, like this guy who's bought his way undeservingly into this high class thing, and he just like fucks it all up for them. Basically, is what he does.
Yeah.
Oh
awesome.
Man, yeah, and it's just like, you know, they were just supposed to, you know, they have the whole Alcatraz heist thing going on, and they're supposed to just knock the dudes out and take the money, and he just starts blasting. You know, he just started blasting. But then things get crazy. But you know what's funny? What's funny was when he you know, Lee Marvin and his girl, his character and his woman, they have that tender moment where they're just chilling in the jail cell while Vernon's counting the money. And then of course the betrayal happens. He shoots Lee Marvin, and right after that, when he shoots again and she screams and covers her face, I thought, oh shit, he shot her too.
It looked like it. It looked like it for a second. Yeah.
I was like, this is a short movie. But no, man. She was in on it the whole time. That's what leads to this right here. Lee Marvin's like, you motherfucker.
Yeah.
He's like, I'm coming. It's funny, when I was watching the trailer for this movie, I was reading the comments, and some of the comments were like, you know, you think you're cool, but you'll never be Lee Marvin walking in the airport cool.
Bro, that shot, when they show that shot and you just hear the footsteps and then it starts cutting to him going on his mission. Good. I mean, dude, the editing in this film is just, I mean, in the directing, it was really inspiring, like just phenomenal.
Yeah. I remember this when the first time I was watching it, that scene happens, and you just hear the footsteps happening over everything else that's going on, and it just gives this impending doom for all these characters. Like, this dude's coming, he's coming back now, and I just remember being like, oh yeah, no, I'm gonna love this movie. I don't even care what happens, I'm gonna love this movie.
And they do that
so
technique
cool
several times in the film. You know, it's like a motif that it keeps reoccurring, and every time it happens, it's amazing.
You keep hearing those footsteps.
Between this character in Point Blank and Lee Marvin's character in The Killers, I mean, two of the most badass performances ever. I mean, he up there with all the great, you know, Clint Eastwood, Bronson. He's just something so unique about him too. It's very still and very stoic, and just something just so badass about him.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. I love too. Not even just in the scenes where he's kicking down doors and, you know, just shooting the gun. Like even in this quieter, still scenes where he, like, I was really struck this time watching it when he's just sitting there. He finds his wife after he's been betrayed, and she is face to face with him for the first time, and he says literally nothing, and he just sits there and lets her talk at him.
Yeah,
I was like, God, that is intense.
No eye contact.
Like
no eye contact.
Yeah, he doesn't look at anyone in almost the entire movie. He's just looking like over here. And just talking.
Observation. Yeah,
really good. Yeah, good observation for sure. Yeah,
I mean, you got him in Dirty Dozen. There's a fun Western called The Professionals. He was great in that. But one of my favorite movies with him is I don't know, you guys have probably seen it, but it doesn't get talked about a lot, and I think it's great. But it's the ending is the reason probably it's not talked about a lot. And when the ending happens, me and my wife are like, whoa, right? It's called Hell in the Pacific. Hell in the Pacific. It's Lee Marvin with
John Borman. Is the movie he did after this movie after Point Blank.
Right. Yeah. Toshiro Mifune, man. And Lee Marvin.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah. Two pilots during World War II crash on this island, and they try to kill each other, and then they learn to work together. And I won't spoil anything else.
Oh shit! Cool.
But it later, in a way, got remade into Enemy Mine because it's pretty much almost the same, similar plot. Yeah.
Interesting.
But yeah, great movie, Hell in the Pacific. It's good to see more people watching right now. Nate Dogg's always ready for that PhatSamuraiGuy Live. Well, it's good to see you, brother. Good to see you. Thanks for hanging out. John Bonnie, good to see you. He's saying what's up to everyone here, all the legends. And here we go. The term slime ball making a comeback. Let's go. You're bringing it back. You're bringing it back. Good to see you, Nolan. Yeah.
What a better time to bring it back, too.
Oh, I know. Right. But yeah, you know, he wants his money. He's like, hey, I got betrayed. I want my money. You know, he's looking for old. We're just gonna call him Vernon. He's looking for Vernon, and he's on the hunt. He's on the hunt, and of course, you know, I didn't see this coming, but you know, I was just like, well, I guess it kind of makes sense. But yeah, she kind of took herself out.
Yeah,
and I really, she just feels so guilty because it was all wine and roses with old Vernon, with the old slime ball, but he was like, peace out. You know, I'm rich. I'm in the syndicate now. I'm in the group. I don't need to. I can get any woman I want now. I'm out of here. So
like, I want your sister anyway. So
yeah.
it's all
By the way, that reminds me, Darren. I'm glad you brought that up because I don't know if you guys experienced this watching it, but I watched it alone and I was laughing out loud in certain sequences just because of I mean, I don't know. Just movies aren't quite made like this anymore. But the scene where they're in the car, it's Lee Marvin and Big John from the car lot.
Oh my god!
And yeah, dude.
Oh my god!
When the dialogue happens and he says, "And her sister," you know, and he's like, "What about her?" And then
yeah, he's talking shit. He's talking shit. Yeah.
It goes back. I was like, dude, you gotta be fucking kidding me.
Dude,
It's such a funny choice. Yeah, in between every crash, he's talking more shit. It's so fucking great.
Oh my god!
And I don't think we knew about the sister until that line.
Yeah, right. I think that's what we learned.
Right. It was kind of like, whoa, what? There's a sister.
Yeah.
You know?
Jeff, I was right there with you, bro. I was busting up. I was like, this dude, Lee is threatening him because he's like a car dealership guy. And Lee's like, hey, let's take this car for a spin. And then he goes crazy with it.
Yeah.
And he's threatening him, you know, and he's just like talking. He's like scared, hysterical, and then talking shit at the same time. He's like, yeah, he nailed her too. I was like, man.
So cool.
I also love that scene. Like it's sort of a torture scene, but it looks really silly. But in that car, like bouncing back and forth like that, they make a point to say he doesn't have a seatbelt on, so he's just banging his head off the windows and stuff. Yeah. Like, oh yeah, no, that would mess somebody up. Get all death proof on him.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And he has to get that information from him so he can continue the hunt. But oh man, busting up just like Jeff for sure. Again, the subtle acting greatness of Lee, especially back to where, you know, his wife takes herself out and he doesn't say a word and he doesn't really show any emotion. All he does is take his ring off and he puts it on her. You could tell he's affected by it, but he's just like no crying, nothing, just you know. And I thought that was interesting.
Well, speaking of the power of subtle acting, the scene where it flashes back to when he met his wife and they're on the wharf.
Yeah.
And there's you don't hear any dialogue. And I think any other actor, and it certainly could have been the director's choice too, but you're getting their romance, and I think it's the only time in the entire movie we see Lee Marvin smiling, and we see him happy, right? Yeah. But that whole sequence where it's a great shot where the camera's kind of going around, and Lee Marvin's kind of there's a little dance going on between the two of them. There's no dialogue between them. Lee Marvin, it's all in his eyes. And I was watching it just kind of going, gosh, any other actor, they'd be mouthing they'd be doing some sort of dialogue right there, because it would probably be too uncomfortable, because it would seem a little weird to go through that whole sequence with no words. But again, just the power of his presence and it worked. It worked completely with no even mouthing dialogue. It was just a great moment.
He had some styling hair too in that scene.
Yeah, hell yeah.
I know. Oh, like, how do we show that this is a long time ago? Yeah, just put some hair dye. That'll do it.
Yeah. Stick some soy sauce in there. We're good.
Some soy sauce.
Hey guys, are we going to talk about the window fall?
We're leading up to it.
We're not there yet, bro. You're jumping far ahead.
Jumping ahead. I just want to make sure we get there.
One of the most hilarious moments ever, too, in movie history.
I have in my notes, like, big bold letters, must mention window fall.
Yeah.
Hey, more certified badass channel members showing up. What's going on, Tyler? Lee Marvin is a badass. Oh yeah, for sure. Yeah, he's
you know what? I think this is the only Lee Marvin movie that I've seen. I don't think I've seen any of his other stuff. I've seen Dirty Dozen like a long time ago. Right. But yeah, this is when I think of Lee Marvin, this is the only one that I really know.
Well,
Billy, if you like this movie, I couldn't recommend enough watching The Killers. It's an early Don Siegel directed movie, and it's just it's a masterpiece. And when you see how much Quentin Tarantino, the homages that Tarantino, like that, you go, oh wow, that's Pulp Fiction. Wow, it's crazy visually. Nice. And Lee Marvin is just incredible in that, so I can't recommend The Killers enough.
I'll have to watch that next.
Billy, next Yin-Yang maybe.
I'm down
on the list. Next Yin-Yang. Yeah.
Hey, you just got to promise us, if you do a Yin-Yang with The Killers, please bring us on.
Oh yeah.
Well, you're personal favorites. Yeah.
You're invited to every Yin-Yang.
Oh, okay. I wasn't. Look, I didn't get the contract. Oh, maybe I got the contract. I didn't read it yet. I let my lawyers do it. Yeah.
Let's celebrate John here. He's been a channel member for 32 months, baby.
Wow.
Hey, good job. You know what, brother? Thanks, you know what you're getting. You're getting the Redford. Yeah.
And a night with the Gear Brothers. And Billy, if he wants to be there too.
I'm in.
We extend the offer. Yeah. It's gonna be great. Can we use your room?
If you don't mind, a Columbo and In the Mood for Love poster.
Hell yeah.
Wait. Did you just say you have a Columbo poster?
I do. Yeah. This is my camera's weird. This is a Columbo poster right there. This one.
Oh, Billy, You're my new bro, man.
Oh man,
You're talking to somebody that I have, not to get on a tangent, but I've watched every Columbo episode, no exaggeration, probably in the hundreds per episode of times per episode.
Nice.
For my whole, I am obsessed to this day. I still watch it endlessly.
I got into it during the pandemic. Columbo poster. These are Columbo books right here. There's more Columbo books around. Yeah,
nice.
You went balls deep, bro.
I did. Yeah. I went full Columbo.
Great, in my opinion, top 3 to 5 best actors of all time. Peter Falk, just off of Columbo, and I could go all day on Columbo.
Same.
Nice. Stay tuned for your future Columbo.
We'll have to do a TV. We got to do a TV edition, Yin and Yang.
There we go.
Hey, all right, yeah, why not? That'd be fun. Yeah. All right, let's keep it going here. But yeah, he's on the. I love this scene. How he just starts walking. He just walks in blasting. Like he's not hesitating at all. He
decided before he kicked that door open. He's like, I'm unloading all of these bullets, and I don't care if he's there or not.
At point blank range.
Exactly.
But yeah, it's like
it's all part of what you mentioned, Billy. Just he's not looking at anybody else or anything else except what he's going to do. There is no ambiguity in this guy's mission.
Right. But yeah, so he's still on the hunt. He's still on the prowl. He goes to this nightclub, and first of all, this is my next. Yeah.
Dude, I thought that was being played by Preston. I didn't know that was.
I was nailing it, dude.
You nailed it.
Yeah.
I love the guy. I love the guy doing it. Yeah.
Hit song of the year right there.
Yes.
Yeah.
And that ending shot on his face, on Lee Marvin's face, when all the colors are going. I mean, it's just because it's funny. That's one of the few scenes of the movie where I really felt like, oh shit, this is like 67. You know what I mean? Like this is hippies. You know what I mean? Because it kind of felt a bit. What's funny is it feels like a 70s movie.
So proto 70s.
So proto 70s.
Prime, yeah. Oh my god.
For that hippie club. And it's done so stylish and interesting. I don't know. I mean, I couldn't believe how stylish it was.
Yeah. I love it too, because it's rare for me to really physically react to a movie these days. But that scene when he just smacks the guy in the face with the bottle, it's so just brutal and in your face, and no pun intended. But like it's such a jarring moment that I had to step back the first time I saw it, and I was like, oh my god. Like he just in the face with a bottle.
I love this fight in the back of the club.
Awesome,
and I love the contrast of this brutal fight, and then of course on the other side we have having
a great old time.
Oh, there you go.
You got to be the singer, and we're the crowd. You know.
Yeah.
Point at the box you want to sing. You know, that's the microphone.
Yeah. That's you, Jeff.
I went.
Okay, you paused there for a second. But I really enjoy this fight. You know why? Because it's sloppy.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but the sloppiness of it,
realism to it.
Yeah, the sloppiness of it. It felt real because it was like two dudes he was fighting at the same time. And I what help me out here? But did he hammer fist that guy's balls, or did he karate punch that guy's balls? It looked like he went.
I think it was like a hammer fist.
Yeah, it was like that.
Yeah.
I was like, dude, we're hammer fisting balls in here.
Like he throws the guy into the shelves too. The guy that goes into the shelves, and he just like hangs there awkwardly. And he's like just punching his ass, basically. I was like, this is like a real. He just wants to hurt this guy.
This is all pre. This is all pre-Raiders of the Lost Ark, where they perfected the punch sounds, right? So it's all it's all realistic, no sound punching. So it's like it gives you that real fight feel in a weird way, you know.
I think the Raiders punch sound is my favorite punch sound in all of movies.
Oh,
I just love that.
It's the best.
I can't even do it right.
But there is but yeah, you do gain some realism by stepping away from that, though. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, that's a choice, you know, when
for sure. And it fits the movie, right?
Yeah.
It fits the style of the
movie.
movie.
It wouldn't, I don't think I feel like it would have taken away from the grittiness of this to put in the Raiders punches.
Yeah. Now we need an edit. I mean,
edit with it. Maybe I'm wrong. I don't know. Let's test
That's it. Raider punch sound effects just thrown in all kinds of movies just for fun. Someone do an edit and send it to me. I'll play it.
Oh man.
Yeah. So he finally runs into Angie here.
Look at that suit, bro. Look.
I know.
The drip, dude. It's unmatched. I mean, come on.
Every scene.
Look at the color palette in that shot, like what she's wearing, the color of the little telescope there. I mean, it's just there are so many frames of this film that is just like a work of art.
Yeah,
committed into a print.
Yeah, for sure.
The stylized nature of it is just so cool. Like I don't think I've ever seen a cooler movie than this. And I know, like, I think Soderbergh talked about how he steals from this movie more than any other movie because it's just the coolest, like. Coolest movie.
Because when I think of that totally makes sense.
It's funny you say that because it's interesting you say that actually because the style of showing because I mean we haven't gotten really dug into it yet, but the editing and directing in this is just off the charts. You can just feel that this is a director's vision. Movie, this is Borman's movie, and it makes sense too why you could take a script, you could look at the script and probably have a very different movie because it's such an experience movie because it feels like somebody sat in an editing room and really finessed and got into a vibe and takes you into a vibe the whole time. But that whole deal of the footsteps, sounds crossing over into other scenes and hearing dialogue, but you're watching other moments and you're in a moment, but you're cutting back, but you're not getting the sound in the other scene. Like that is such a Soderbergh, like, I mean, when you go like to Sex, Lies, and Videotape, I mean, that's been done so many times. Those are such powerful moves to do. Anatomy of a Fall, I was just telling Jeff there was a moment in Anatomy of a Fall where I went, wow, that moment towards the end where blah 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 happens, and there was this moment where it was you're listening to the little boy but it cuts to the father speaking, but you're watching the little boy talk and it gives you this haunting feeling. It goes. I mean, what did it before this film? I mean, maybe it was done, but I don't know if it was this badass. I don't know if it was this, because it's the whole film. The whole movie is just on that vibe. It's so stylized the whole time.
Yeah. Wow. Yeah.
Like a grammar of.
You're so good, Darren. You're nailing that, man. Every time I show that image, I'm gonna need you to do that. What were you saying, Jeff?
Oh no, I was just saying, it's like a kind of grammar of visual storytelling. I don't think I've ever seen before that date. I don't know if he invented it, but certainly, I mean, it's an exemplary case back then.
Yeah,
that was obviously influential for people like Soderbergh. But like the drip of the style of Lee Marvin. You just see a lot of like even Ocean's 11. I was getting those kind of vibes of the color palette there with Brad Pitt and so that was cool.
Yeah.
Well, that's Soderbergh. That's Soderbergh too.
Yeah, exactly.
Have you ever seen The Limey?
Yeah.
So The Limey was my favorite movie for a long time, and I just remember being like completely struck by that movie for the reasons that we're talking about in Point Blank, like this sort of out of time, like always kind of flashing back to things.
Yes.
Being hearing, and that movie's doing that constantly. But then I saw Blank and I was like, I see where you got that.
Yeah,
that's true.
Yeah, so it's really cool to see the origin.
That lovemaking scene where like he's rolling over, and when he rolls over, like it's John Vernon.
Yeah,
and then it's like the girl swaps. I mean, that was just, gosh, man,
that was trippy.
there's a real 60s psychedelic element to this film, like a almost like the outfit, but psychedelic or something. You know what I mean?
It's the style does have me interested in looking this up because I always kind of it's funny because I've seen Point Blank. I own it. I rewatching it. It's one of those great rewatches where I think it is so experiential for me because I hadn't seen it in such a long time. It felt just totally brand new again. I could remember the locations, but it felt like just a whole new experience again watching it. But I forgot my damn point. Shit, I've lost my track.
Well, I think you wanted to say,
wow.
I will bust up laughing every time.
But no, you guys brought up some great points with the directing and the editing and all that, especially when you have the scenes like this, and then later you have the flashbacks of him and Vernon being best buds with his girl in the middle, and she talks about her having feelings towards Vernon because he is Mr. Big. Maybe that's Mr. Big for a reason that we don't know about. That's why he's called that. And I'm gonna get you sucker. But just really great directing. You could say it's artsy fartsy, but without the farts. Or it doesn't stink. There you go.
Yeah, it doesn't. Yeah, it doesn't.
I remembered my train of thought. What my train of thought was, I had always thought because Woody Allen did those kind of moves a lot in his earlier films, and he would only do them kind of briefly, but because he always played with surrealism. But Woody was always very famous for saying he literally only, he pretty much only watched foreign films. So I always thought, because when you watch, I'm a big fan of French cinema. When you watch French cinema, you usually see a lot of experimental stuff. So I just always thought that must have been the French doing that kind of experimenting. But it's interesting. That was an American director in the 60s. So I wonder, was he influenced? Was that like a foreign, like a French influence, or and he sort of did the American version of it? Or, it'd be interesting to kind of see the origins of that.
Yeah. And just also like probably, I would guess it had something to do with the 60s though, too, like the psychedelic milieu of America, at the time, kind of like making its way through the arts, music and painting, and then you have cinema,
Yeah, maybe
that might be playing a role too.
Yeah, could be for sure. But I interviewed actor Brian Brooks the other day, and we were talking about how the best homage the best get inspired by the best,
right?
Yeah. So it is a thing. I'm not surprised.
That's a line from a Woody Allen movie. Anything else? He's like, if you're gonna steal from the best.
There you go.
That's what he's telling Jason Biggs, in case anyone wants to.
There you go.
Jason Biggs at a Woody Allen movie.
All right, now we've gushed enough about Lee Marvin because of all the drip and the style. But he's so good that he's probably just thinking about lunch right now. And he's so
he
good.
Doesn't eat. He's too cool to eat food.
Yeah. There was an old interview I came across with Clint Eastwood, and he was like, people would be like, why do you squint so much? It's like your characters squint so much in those Westerns. And he was like, it's like, whoa, your character, like, wow. And he's like, the sun was in my face. All right. Now, what do you think? I want your honest thoughts, unbiased thoughts on Angie's character. What do you think of her character in the movie? Anybody can speak.
I think she's really interesting. Like she plays this. She's not a damsel in distress or anything, and she's not. She's very unexpected. I feel like. Yeah. I had forgotten what an asset she was to him in the beginning and how much she helped. And then when she left, I was like, oh, does she leave the movie right now? Like after he sort of uses her help because she knows that John Vernon's got this crush on her. and so she'll be able to get in, and she'll be able to get into the building that he's sort of hiding out in, and then after that whole scene happened, she like walks off. She's like, "Oh, you're a piece of shit. Like you died out there." And then she leaves him. And I was like, "Right? Does she leave? I can't remember." And then when she comes back, I was sort of remembering, like, "Oh yeah, no, she's a much bigger part of this movie than I thought."
Just walks in. Hey, what's going on? What's happening?
Just walks in like,
yeah.
She's in love with him. Okay, cool.
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm sort of fascinated by her, honestly. Like, very conflicted, very strange part of the movie.
Yeah, I also the other to kind of go off that same point, strange is kind of a good word for it, and I kind of liked it too, because even the kind of the dance of her hitting him with a pool cue and that leading to them going to bed together. Talk about, I mean, this is the 60s, so you're talking about the traditional, we're still stuck in these traditional ways that the sort of traditional boy meets girl kind of way in romantic kind of situations happen. And I just love that, like, the choice of she knocks him out, and then it's like that's what it kind of took to get him kind of subdued, and then she now sort of makes the move on him, and it was like, well, what
she initiated that.
Yeah,
he's like all out of it, and she's like,
he's
leaning
under her face. Yeah.
So it's an interesting character, really. It's a very untraditional. That like Billy said, not a damsel in distress kind of role at all, because she plays Vernon, and she takes the power seat with Marvin, and it's pretty. You got to hand it to her. It holds her own, like, amongst some pretty formidable characters when you look at those two. Those two are pretty heavy on the screen.
Yeah, she
just
really
occurring to me.
Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead, Billy.
Oh no, I was just gonna say, it's just occurring to me
really
as
have to. Go ahead.
Sorry. Yeah, it's just occurred to me as we're talking about it. Like, they're both sort of really, they've got blinders on to everything else. They both just kind of have their goals in mind. Like, she's in love with him. Right. She tells him at one point, like, "You were always the best part of my sister." And okay, you were in love with him.
Beautiful way of saying it. Yeah.
So like, she kind of she does this horrible thing of seducing John Vernon to go in and trick him and set him up to get killed, and then she comes back to him, and she's still like, the reason she flips out is because she thinks that he's asked her out, basically, but really he's just using her again. And so she gets pissed off about that, and then knocks his ass out. And I don't know, I'm seeing it as sort of like her goal is to be with him, and she's gonna fight until she can do that.
Yeah,
I think that was really interesting.
She's like really frustrated that he's like not really showing any emotion back, and then we get to the iconic flailing scene. Like,
that's the best, dude. I love the scene.
That was all real shit. Like, she was really smacking him.
Yeah,
like she was really smacking him in that scene.
Yeah.
And then Lee Marvin, he's a military man, and you notice when he walks into frame, she tries to hit him, and he instinctively blocks it.
Yeah,
like he's not even looking her way. He just goes like that, and then he turns and he's like, "All right, get it out of your get it out of your chest, get it off your chest, go." And she does this epic flailing at him, and then she tires herself out. But
that's me and the toddler, by the way.
yeah, exactly. Yeah. Interesting and strange, but very unique and different. But at first I was kind of confused. I was like, dude, does she love and hate him at the same time? She might.
Yeah,
at the same time.
Conflicts going on there.
Yeah, but as much as she loved him, she still couldn't. Hey, that old Vernon got her though. She was with Vernon earlier. Vernon, that pimp. Look at that guy.
Yeah,
what a pimp.
Well, I guess she was using Vernon, but was actually in love with.
Right. Yeah. But yeah, she didn't really have to help Lee Marvin's character, but she did.
No.
So that was cool.
Yeah. And her costume design was fucking awesome. I mean, look at that. I mean, that shirt's awesome.
There's like a reveal for it too. She has a big jacket. She takes it off, and it's like, oh wow.
Yeah. You're like, damn,
look at you.
Everybody's got the drip.
Everyone's got the drip.
You even go back to the old like some movies from the 50s, man. And I don't know. I was telling my wife, like, dude, some of the clothes they wore back then was dope. They had those long trench coaches, and then the hat had to be tipped. The hat always had to be tipped. Walking with them trench coaches.
Well, this is earlier, but I know me and Darren were talking about the drip in what was it, Casablanca? You know, Humphrey Bogart's drip in that. I mean, come on, dude.
I mean,
yeah.
And speaking of French movies too, actually around this time, have you ever seen The Samurai? The Jean-Pierre
Melville? I'm right here.
Oh yeah.
I got the drip in that. I got the poster right.
Oh
there.
Yes.
Another one of those like movies.
Hold on, Darren, show it again.
Right there, baby.
Yeah, there you go.
Come on.
Yeah, that's the talk about drip,
just coolness factor.
Yeah.
Oh yeah,
that's an awesome poster in the back. What is that poster from?
Oh, you're talking about which one? 10 to Midnight or the Retaliator?
The Retaliator. Love that poster.
The Jean-Pierre Melville crime noir French movies, those the style, the guys are, the suits and the trench coats and the hats and the fedora. I mean, it's just everybody walking into the different clubs and walking through that era of Paris, and with the black and white and in the rain. It's just there's almost like that proto can't believe the name's escaping me. The Heat, Michael Mann. Like those, how the lights are just those hues in the lights and the rain. I know it's got some of that vibe there. Yeah, definitely. There was look. That was just things just got a lot more casual, when things got grimy in the 70s, right? With the grime, things just got a lot more casual, I guess.
Ooh, I just came up with another yin-yang. Darren, Jeff, let's talk later, like a future yin-yang.
Yeah.
Let's do Thief.
Yeah.
Ooh, I've never seen Thief.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
You're going to love it, dude.
That's one of those ones that's been like...
That's kind of
every list that I have, I'm like, I'll put that on soon. I'll put that on soon. But I'm like saving it for when I can sit and focus.
Epic of all. I mean, just be prepared to just be blown out.
That's it, Thief.
What's going to be the opposite though?
You guys are making me want to do Killers, but now I'm like, we could not do Lee Marvin's back to back. Maybe we'll just do Thief and Killers on the next one.
Yeah.
But yeah, we'll talk later. We'll talk.
We'll have to go something to pair
horror though. Let's do
hard.
Really like quick.
Yeah,
we'll have to do. I'll let you guys pick the horror movie on the next one.
Right. I haven't given my opinion yet. Okay.
I'm sorry. That's all I'm going to say. I'm sorry up front, but we'll get to Antrum in a little bit. Talking about
chopping up.
I know. Alain what is it? How you say his name properly? You had the poster there.
Alain Delon. Yeah.
Please tell me you guys have seen Red Sun.
Oh fuck yeah, dude! Charles Bronson.
It is driving me insane.
Jeff, you haven't seen that?
I have because we meant to see it together, so we haven't just. Yeah. That's like on the watch with Darren pile.
Yeah.
It's insanely underrated. Like I can't.
Insane.
I don't understand. I never even heard of Red Sun, and then I was just. This was like way back, and I was like, whoa! There's a Western with Charles Bronson and Toshiro Mifune in here. Wait a minute, where did this movie come from? And I watched it, blown away by it. I couldn't believe it, and then of course Ellen's in it as well. And I'm like, dude, why? For the love of God, why is nobody talking about Red Sun? How does
nobody talk about that movie?
Why?
Insane. Well, the other crazy. So what's a cool little thing is that Charles Bronson and Alain Delon, their first collaboration is this movie right here, which is behind me. It's Adieu Ami. Right there, you can see he's lighting the cigarette for Bronson right there.
Yeah, yeah.
Nice.
Okay, so that was the movie that made Bronson an international superstar. He had put out 3. He was a character actor in the States for years.
Yeah.
Doing little bit parts in big movies like Great Escape and things like that. But he couldn't break out, and then he had 3 movies in a row in 1 year in Europe that took him to the top, and then that movie made him the biggest star in Europe. And in that year, that was like the number 1, and it was huge thanks to Alain Delon, because Alain Delon was basically the Tom Cruise meets Brad Pitt of French cinema. I mean, he was just the iconic big actor for decades over there. And then their second collaboration was Red Son.
Yeah, so good. We'll have to discuss that one on the channel in the future for sure. More Bronson movies we need to do, but I'm not doing any more Bronson movies without the Gear Brothers. They got to be here.
Cannot.
All right, back to that was a fun little segue. Back to Point Blank here. I'm so close to saying Point Break. Right there.
Now that would have been the best yin-yang. Point blank, Point Break.
Right.
Oh my goodness. But yeah, he's on the prowl, and now we're here. He's they're working together so he can find Vernon. Now I will let Jeff talk about the scene, first the setup and the payoff. Go ahead, my friend.
The setup and the payoff.
Yes, the setup where
the drop, bro.
Yeah, the drop.
What are we talking about?
The jump.
I don't want to set this up.
Okay, we'll talk about your reaction, but Billy, talk about the scene.
Yeah. Okay. So, she has helped him. Chris has helped him sneak into this building. He's gotten access. He's on his way. Part of his plan is to have a crime called into the building across the street. And one of my favorite scenes is that he goes in and he takes these 2 guys hostage, and they're so nice. They're so nice. Like, he ties them up and he's like, no, don't tie yourselves up. Tie yourselves together. They're like, oh, okay.
Yeah.
Did you recognize him?
No.
The 2 dudes that are on the bottom floor. The guy on the right. You know who that is?
No.
If I'm wrong, I'm an idiot. But if I'm right, bro, I think that was Sid Haig's son.
Oh, I see Sid Haig here in the cast list. So
Sid Haig, dude.
Shut up.
Young Sid Haig with hair. No facial hair. Yeah, I think it was that was. I was like, dude, that's him. I was like, oh my god, young Sid Haig.
Boy, I gotta look that up.
Yeah. The guy, the guards in the bottom, right, from the syndicate. They were like at the bottom.
Wow.
Yeah,
so
bottom of the building.
But they were so nice. Like, and then when they call in the fake call to the cops, they're like, "Was that good?" And he was like, "Yep, that's great." And then he leaves. What a nice interaction. But so he gains access. He gets to John Vernon right before they're about to do the deed. They're both naked in bed together, and she sees Lee Marvin come in. She pushes him off and goes to get dressed. And you have this moment where another one of my favorite moments where he's like slapping him, like, "Give me my money. Where's my money? Where's my money?" And he just faints. And then cut away.
Yeah.
Faints and comes back up. He just faints.
What an unusual choice there. Yeah.
He really turned out to be a bitch.
And dragging him off the bed. Dragging him off the bed. He's just sitting there all
Yeah.
Like, it was that was a very interesting scene for that reason.
Yeah, and he's saying like, "Oh, kill me," and then he's trying to deal with him, and then he is running away and falls off the edge. I think is what happens, or Lee Marvin doesn't shove him over the edge, right?
No,
he just runs and trips.
He's still holding the blankie.
Yeah, is the blankie effing him up? Is that what's?
Oh, maybe because Lee Marvin tries to grab it. and he unrolls out of the blanket.
Yeah, because he kind of killed himself because Lee Marvin hears the other thugs.
Yeah.
So he let's get out of the room. So they go out to the balcony, and as they're backing up, Lee Marvin's looking like this, and as they're backing up, Vernon accidentally falls over the railing. We got a railing kill or the balcony kill.
Yeah.
It's fucking hilarious. I couldn't stop laughing at his death. Oh my god!
Just looking straight down, and it's like a paper cutout of his naked butt just
falls. You know.
I like to call the birth of Industrial Light and Magic.
Ah!
that might be the first special effect ever in any movie.
I was expecting it to kind of float, you know what I mean? Like, physics, you know, with how it looked.
And I think they were trying to make it look like a car eventually hit it or something.
Yeah, right.
Little wizard. It was just this.
He's like a naked dude. He's on the ground. It doesn't look like he's splattered or anything. It just looks like he's just kind of laying there awkwardly. Like,
yeah.
You know, it's like, did you fall off?
One of the most hilarious falls to your death, believe it or not. This is obscure. This is obscure, but it's worth mentioning. Ninja Turtles 3, the villain at the end of Ninja Turtles 3 falls over the hill into the ocean. You see him fall, and he literally disappears.
No splash, right?
No, but you hear a splash sound.
Oh, you just
like, and you're.
Oh my gosh.
Oh, it's hilarious.
That's some editor going, oh, I forgot to cut in a layer.
Oh my god. This is what it's all about, folks. Entertainment on the channel. But the leader of the syndicate, at least in this sector, because there was like three names were dropped, right?
Yeah.
There were like three main names that he got from Vernon. Yeah.
I love that the layers just go and go.
No, there's Sid Haig right there. He's right there in the middle. He's in the middle with the hair.
Is that him?
Yeah, that's him.
Man.
That's him. Yeah. How funny is that, man? I was rolling. I was like, oh my god, it's Sid Haig. But yeah, this guy's like, you guys are fucking up. You need to kill this dude. He's coming after us, wanting his money that we can't pay him. And things go from there. But he realized he calls the car dealership guy, the guy who failed earlier. He calls him. He's like, you're the smart one.
Yeah.
I'm like, come with me. You're the smart one. I'm like, is he? Is he the smart one? Maybe
that's your smart one. Whew.
Well, no, they're setting him up to kill him. They want to just get rid of him at the same time.
Oh, that's right. That's right. That's right.
Probably
as
a punishment for not stopping him the first time.
The sniper guy, that actor looked familiar. Billy,
he's been in a lot.
Yeah.
James
what is his name? James. What is it? Sicking?
James Sicking. Yeah.
Yeah. He's
you look familiar.
He's another one I forgot. He was there for a lot of it. Like I remembered him in the bridge. And I remembered him kind of at the end. I forgot it was the same person, but it was really cool to see that. Like one of the first things he says when he realizes how smart Walker is or how smart Lee Marvin is like, oh, he's beautiful. It's beautiful. What he's doing is beautiful.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness. Darren, talk about the next scene that leads up to the setup.
Oh, this is
they're going to get the money.
Yeah, this is just one of my I don't know why. I just one of the best sequences in the movie. When I think of the movie, I think of them being in the bridge, under the bridge, and like
the LA River type.
Yeah, LA River, and it's just what I love about it is I love it's just something so. It was making me in this scene especially. I was feeling very inspired writing wise because it's like this protagonist he knows he's just ahead of everybody. And he's so confident and he's always right. And there's something so satisfying about it because there's never a fake out really. It's just like, he's just on it. He just knows. So there's something so satisfying about just walking that dude. I love, because I don't know, I feel like in any other movie, right? When that guy who they set up as kind of the boss, sets the hit or the bag in motion, the money. You feel like the scene of him showing up at the office in a normal movie that would come way later, but it just happens right after. Marvin's in, he's like, no, you're coming with me, and it feels so. It just feels so confident and so ballsy to just no. I know exactly what you're doing. We're gonna go, and we're gonna play this out. And just marches him to his own death. I mean, it's like, fuck. And both guys die, no money in the case. It's so epic. Such a great scene.
Doing it all with the drip.
That drip, dude.
Yeah, with the short tie.
Killed by his own trap. It's awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah. But I was already rolling when the one of the last leaders of the syndicate, Archie Bunker, showed up. Got off the plane. I was like, oh, look at all Archie Bunker there. But look at the acting just in this frame.
He's
here.
Great in this.
Look at this. Yeah. I think at this point, do you think at this point, Jeff, that he's just like done in a way? He's just like, dude, I just want my fucking money.
Yeah,
just give me the. I'm gonna kill you if you don't give me the money.
Yeah.
Why are you hesitating? He's so good.
He's so over it too. It's hilarious. He's like, literally, they're like, well, you're not going to get your money, and he's like,
yeah. Come on, guys.
Okay, I'm going to kill you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
When are you gonna fucking believe me?
Yeah.
Then
he shoots the shit out of the speakerphone.
Dude, that speakerphone, that one startled me. I was like, damn.
I had to show that in the intro of this video.
Yeah.
But yeah, that was great. I was like, he's had enough. And then Archie Bunker was like, holy shit, all right. Like his whole reaction was like he was all freaking out, like, oh God, he's serious. He might actually kill me. And then we'll get to the ending now, the big reveal, the big holy shit moment. I do have some questions. The first time you watched it, what did you guys think about the ending? Be honest. The first time.
It was a head scratcher for me at first. Okay. I had to really go back and be like, yeah, we haven't actually even talked about how in the very beginning, like right after the betrayal, after he's shot and he gets off the Alcatraz Island and he's okay. He's like now out looking for revenge. He's talking to an FBI agent named Yost. And this FBI agent is saying like, yeah, there's this corporation. They're the ones that shot you. Your old partner is part of that, but I can help. We can help each other. And then he just kind of goes away for most of the movie. And then in the end, when Lee Marvin's he's finally going to get his money. They figured out how to get him his money. He's basically do the same gag that he did in the very beginning that got him shot, which is money from the Alcatraz drop. Only this time it's revealed that Yost, the agent that he talked to in the beginning, is actually the big boss of this crime syndicate.
I love it. I love that.
Watching it this time, I'm like, oh, I get it now. Because the whole time, the other bosses, Carter and Brewster, are talking about how that guy's dead anyway. Like, he doesn't even know that he's dead. Like, we're going to often he's useless. So what I realized this time is that, he knew they were going to do that. So he helped Marvin take them all out before they could take him out. But the first I didn't put all that together. It was time
I didn't catch that.
It was almost like Lee Marvin's character was a pawn, because he kind of helped him throughout the movie. Like, hey, I know where whatchamacall is. He was giving him hints. Hey, whatchamacall's over there. And
it's such a brilliant. I mean, just a brilliant plot, just a plot point, and they leave it very ambiguous, which is kind of cool. The movie's so stylized, you never really learn how did he meet him, and they leave all those kind of details out, but it just makes it cool, Speaking of the ending, those shots of Marvin going back into the shadows,
That was dope.
Yeah, I wrote all the shots in Alcatraz are just epic. Like there's this shot that's like super wide, and you see this massively tall building, and he's just this tiny little figure that's looking down from one of these like windows. It's awesome.
Yeah.
Just so cool.
I love the big reveal. I love the cinematography. Everything's so good. Of course, the acting and the drip. But
drip never stopped.
I was reading a lot of comments and of people just praising the movie, which they should, because this movie's amazing. But I did see a lot of comments going, "Man, this movie's so great, but what an unsatisfying ending." Like, I loved everything about it, but man, that ending. Only because, and it's interesting, you know, everyone's to each their own, right? Everyone's different, but it's interesting to bring up because some people were saying that he was so hard-boiled, like, I'm gonna shoot the speakerphone, you know, I'm gonna do everything like in my power, you know, I'm gonna go to the club and fuck dudes up, I'm gonna inflict violence, I'm gonna drive a car around, but at the end, people wanted him to go after and kill the main dude and get his money, but it just kind of just ends. The movie just ends. So what do you think was going through the character, Lee Marvin's character, of why he went into the shadows and left, and the movie just kind of just went to credits? What do you think? Like, why didn't he kill the last guy and the sniper guy showed up? Why didn't he get his money? The whole movie he's gun ho to get his money. Why didn't he? Was he because he was outnumbered, or
the way I kind of read it is that when the twist happens and he realizes, because he's very, very trepidatious while he's there. I mean, he's skeptical as a motherfucker, right?
Yeah.
Well, as soon as he realizes this dude's been playing him the whole time, and now this, you know, this sharpshooter comes out of the shadows on top of it, and he's sitting there going, I pay all my debts. He doesn't know if that money's sitting in there.
Right.
And the way I really see, as I was just saying, I really see his characters. He's always up on shit. Like, I think his instincts are very good. I think he got fooled, right? Mm-hmm. But I think he knows that money's not in that fucking case right there. They're gonna fucking kill me right now.
Right.
This is now.
Yeah.
Get the, you know what I mean? Like,
they're baiting him. He's baiting him. Walker.
Right.
Now
get your money. Now maybe they are. Now remember what he says. I could use a guy like you to join up. So
that's true.
Was that manipulation, or was that
was it? Now what I like about it was the ambiguous. I sometimes I like ambiguous endings. I like movies where we don't know what does he decide to do, because it doesn't show what he ultimately decides, and we don't know if the money's in the bag. We don't know, does he go for it? We don't know, are they gonna, you know, so it leaves it kind of open. But I don't know, I kind of like the ambiguousness of it. I didn't mind it. I thought, again, the movie's just so friggin' stylized from frame one on.
Yeah,
I feel like the ending kind of like matches with everything else. If it would have had kind of a traditional, like, the guy gets his bag, right, it would have just followed suit with other. But this movie is just like, it breaks a lot of rules the whole time, you know.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah.
So I don't know. That was kind of my take.
Yeah, kind of. You know, it kind of hit me a little weird. I was kind of, I didn't understand, Billy, any of what you explained about that backstory going on with the FBI agent. I was just confused. But I think, but it sort of didn't matter. Right. You know, it was so like, just as a visual story, it just felt so satisfying in every way. It didn't matter that I didn't understand the ending, you know. But now I really want to go back and watch it now.
It's better. The second time, it's even better.
Things now, like, okay, now I know why that scene was there, or that character, because now that you were mentioning, I was like, there were those little pockets where he was getting information. I completely forgot about the FBI. Even at the beginning of the fucking movie. You know what I mean? So it was kind of like,
they're on the boat looking at Alcatraz.
Yeah. So yeah, it's a very it's so good on so many layers. You know what I mean? You can kind of pick what level you want to experience that, and
in a way, credit to the movie being so good. And some people were kind of like disappointed with the ending because they wanted him to get his money and kill the dude.
Yeah.
Right.
But you could kind of look at that as a compliment too, because that means they were really invested.
Yeah.
So yeah.
I also harken back to what Chris was saying before she sort of had a meltdown, and she was basically telling him, like, you're so obsessed with this money. It's not even your money. Like, it's not your money. What are you going to do? You know?
Yeah.
And she was telling him basically, like, hey, I'm in love with you. Like, we could be together.
Right.
I wonder too if at the end he's looking at that money, even if it is actually a bag of money, if he's like, it's not worth dying over.
That's my death.
Waiting for me.
That's my death down there.
I have money. Maybe I'll go do that. Like,
yeah.
I don't know.
Maybe he's splitting the money and figures out. Yeah, because it did cross my mind. I was like, maybe that's the moment where it's like the money. Like, this wasn't really about the money.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? The whole time, like, that was my stated goal, but that wasn't really what I wanted. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And like, that was that, and he didn't know that until the very last second, where it was like he could go for that money, or he can just splits and go for Chris. Yeah, that's really interesting.
Because on that note, you could even see, and that is the fun of a movie that's really excellent, and then you get this kind of ambiguous ending. Because you are left with this kind of choose your own adventure in your own mind, which I kind of like. Because the other, as Billy was talking, I was sitting there going, geez, maybe Fairfax is telling the truth. The money is there. He does want to recruit him. He wants it. And now he's in the shadows going, I don't want this life anymore. I've been living this villain life for a long time. There's the like Jeff said, there's the goal I've been going after. You know what? That's not my money. And I don't want to be this henchman. I don't want to be this, and fuck yeah, let me go get the girl. And you know, I mean, you really could, there could be so many different ways to look at it. I kind of, the first time I saw it, I kind of felt like just awed by it. My brain was kind of in a bunch of directions, and it was like, whoa, like what the fuck just happened?
Yeah,
you know?
it's like Lee Martin, like he is not, his goal is like trying, it is a kind of revenge thing, right? It's not, and it's all framed around the goal of, it's like, to him, he understands it as, I just want my money. But really it's like, he just got burned by his wife and his best friend.
Yeah.
Like, that's what he's trying to soothe, you know what I mean? Or rectify, you know what I mean? But it's like, he doesn't quite realize it. And maybe he does at that very last scene. It's the part of the choose your own event.
Well, jumping off what Darren said, and a lot of people said what you said, Darren, like, watch it a second time, you'll love it even more. A lot of people were saying that. But this is coming up with your own synopsis or what you think happened at the ending. There's a lot of fan theories out there, and I think this is kind of fun.
This is Room 237 shit.
Oh God, fuck that movie. Anyway,
this was all Whitney's dream, wasn't it? You know, or like Chris's dream,
whatever that is. But a lot of people just for fun were like, "Hey, what if he's dead? What if he's dying in the cell, and the rest of the movie is in his head?"
Oh, so it is kind of, it's in the head. I wasn't far off with the joke of all the what you said.
So there you go. That's interesting.
I'm sorry. Somebody's just dreaming it is just, I mean, come on.
I have one final fan theory I just want to throw out there just to shake it up.
I'm scared.
She's the kingpin.
No.
That's mine, Samurai. I'm going to take that off the buffet.
That's not bad. But let me throw this one out there. What if Point Blank is a cursed film? And everyone who watches it, falls
off a building.
An unfortunate thing happens to them after they see it.
You fall off a building.
That
is a perfect segue to our next movie.
You're welcome. You're welcome.
Very well done, Darren. That's why you're here, brother.
I did want to. I'd be remiss if I didn't mention one more thing though about not to sort of cock block that amazing segue.
You ruined it, Jeff.
Jeff,
I don't know.
Come on.
I don't know if you caught. There was this cute thing this kind of cute thing they did with the names in the film.
Love that.
And they worked it into the dialogue at a very pivotal scene between Chris and Lee Marvin's character, where they go. She goes, "What's your first name?"
No, she goes, "What's my?"
Oh no! She goes, "What's my last name?"
Right.
Yeah.
And then he goes, "What's my first name?" And I did think that was kind of weird when I was looking at the cast at the beginning of the film, just to kind of get an idea of. So I knew which characters were which, and because sometimes I'll get lost. I was like, that is kind of odd how they just have a first name and then just a last name for other people, like and of course you get that little dialogue at the end. It was like, oh, chef's kiss.
Great line.
Not as good as this, though.
Yeah. That was great. That was sick.
All right. So speaking of screaming, let's go ahead and get to Antrum here. So I know you were like, why Samurai Guy? Why this movie? Well, I was browsing. I was bored, and I was browsing Instagram, and now I've learned my lesson. I've learned my lesson.
Stop it, Samurai. Wait till the end, okay?
Okay. No.
I might convince you love this movie.
I might love it at the end. I don't know. We'll get to it. But here's the context of my choice. Okay.
All right.
So I'm coming across this Instagram reel, 5 ridiculously amounts of views. Darren's like, fuck leading up to it. I'm letting you guys know right now.
Darren's like, I'm gonna jump to the chase. Okay.
Yeah.
And they were like, they were talking about.
I got some thoughts, all right, Darren.
They were talking about this cursed movie, Antrum, and these people.
My brain feels cursed. I'll tell you that.
See, in a way, I'm still glad I picked it so we could talk about it.
Darren, that got you? Was it the goat fucking?
In all fairness, we made
necrophiliac goat fucking. Was that what threw you off?
In all fairness, we made Samurai watch Howling 7. So I mean, it's
Howling
not like
7 is a masterpiece.
We converted you.
Yes, I am a Howling 7 fan.
Really, we gotta get you now.
Why?
Why
though? Why? Because there's at least some sort of entertainment.
True.
In Howling 7, right?
It is true.
So I'm looking on the gram. I'm bored, and this video I wasn't even searching for this. It just popped up, and they had this guy on there going, "Oh man, apparently this movie called Antrum came out. This young kid, that should have been a red flag already." Younglings talking about horror movies on Instagram and TikTok. I will never believe you ever again. I will never trust you ever again. Every time I come across one of their this is the most top 10 disturbing movies ever made, I'm like laughing. This is my reaction to these lists, these disturbing lists. I'm like, those movies disturbed you? Okay, no more TikTok and Instagram with the younglings. No more. We're done with that. All right. So anyway, but I was just curious because I never heard of the movie anyway. I was like, what the hell is Antrum? So I'm watching this reel, and he's talking about, a long time ago, this was apparently this was shown in the theater. Was the 70s, right? I think it was the 70s.
Early 70s.
Early 70s. And the theater caught on fire and 56 people died. And then later, the reel of the film was sent to independent festivals. And then the people who were hosting the festivals, they ended up dying several hours after that. Oh, apparently this controversial movie has the reputation of being cursed. And would you watch Antrum? Right? And I'm like,
I accept your challenge.
Yeah.
Billy, brother, have you heard of Antrum? I think we need to watch this, and I think we need to call some bullshit of this curse. So that's why I picked Antrum. I was like, all right, let's as a challenge, to call bullshit.
Yeah.
Little did I know. Oh, go ahead.
I love the choice. I love the choice of doing it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Like I said, I'm still happy.
You were waiting for that shoe to drop, Billy. We were like, you love what?
Love the choice of it. The decision to put it on the slate.
So I started watching it, and I almost canceled this episode, guys.
The standards are getting really low. Billy's like, Samurai, I want to add in really quick.
Oh, go ahead.
I love movies.
Yes.
Okay, keep going.
Darren, I love movies too. All right. So anyway,
make us watch that movie. I'm blocking you. No, I'm just kidding. No,
so anyway,
I will gladly watch that.
So anyway, I'm like, I started watching the movie in the first, I think, 8 minutes or something like that. I almost canceled this episode.
Dude, you texted me.
I texted Jeff, and
like, dude, I can't do this.
I sent you a voice message, Billy, but
yeah,
I took it away later because I was like, dude, we can't do this. This is fucking crap. Not because the movie was. It didn't get to the movie yet. It just started off as a documentary.
That's why
it started off as a documentary talking about the curse and the deaths of the people and all that.
Right,
and I'm like, dude, the movie's not on here. This is this whatever this is. They're talking about the legend of this movie. I was like, this is garbage, dude. Like, I don't want this bullshit. But some told me to just keep watching because if Billy finished it, I didn't know if he finished it yet. I was like, well, if he finished it, poor guy. I might as well finish it too, just in case, right?
Yeah.
But if he didn't finish it, I was going to cancel it. But I kept watching it, and I was like, oh, this popped up. I was like, oh. By continuing to watch the film, you agree that the producers of this film have made you aware of the history and the dangers associated with Antrum. The producers, distributors, cast, crew, unions, and theater management of all levels are released of all liability for any event that occurs to you during or after your screening, including but not limited to illness, injury, mortal danger, or death. If you disagree in any way with this notice, you must leave the theater now. No. Right? So you get some kind of notice like, oh, the movie's about to start now.
Man, if anything had happened to me while I was in that movie, if I had died, my wife would have been in trouble.
I warned you, right? So I'm like, all right, here's the fucking movie. And I text Jeff. I'm like, all right, the movie's here.
Yeah, it's on. I was like, all right,
let's do it. So, if all those people really died, I think the real cases of their deaths were from boredom. I think that's what really happened because this was like boring. As soon as the movie started, I was like, oh no, this is a fake. Like right when it started, I was like, oh, we have fake 70s film grain over it. I was like, God damn it. Well, I was hoping it was at least a real movie that we could shit on.
Okay. Let me defend this a little bit, Preston.
Okay.
I think this movie. There's.
You'll be surprised at some things I bring up later. Believe it or not. But go ahead.
There's two movies here. There's the movie that we all watched, and then there's the movie within the movie. Okay. Now the movie within the movie here, the Antrum. I think it's. I don't know. I randomly I actually like listening to Louis C.K. talk about movies. I don't know if you guys have ever heard him talk about them. He's actually really good on like Kubrick and P.T. Anderson, some of my favorite filmmakers. And the way he talks about P.T. Anderson's There Will Be Blood, he basically described it as like, look, it's a fever dream. It's not even a real period piece. Like nobody was actually exactly like that movie depicted them. It's fucking weird. And like Stanley Kubrick did the same things with his historical movies. It's like they're just these weird alternate realities of a given time period. They should be understood as like a period piece proper. Right. I think best case scenario, you could give a kind of argument for the 70s-ishness they were going for this movie. It's not a period piece of the 70s. It's like so many things feel so fucking weird with like how they were trying to make it look like the 70s. It like even simple shots, like the wide shots, it was like, I don't feel like this is the 70s at all. If it like, except for this weird filter that you're putting on the camera to make it look grainy. But
right.
So maybe you could say in its defense, look, that it's just the fever dream of the Artur director here. Okay.
Right. Well, no, that's an interesting point, Jeff. Those are some interesting.
I'm giving the devil its due, dude.
It's fine.
Listen, I'm gonna be devil's advocate a little bit too.
This is turned into a versus episode.
Dude, this is.
Oh, listen, between these two movies, Lee Marvin's kicking down that tent and just shooting all of his bullets at everyone.
I don't know. Jeff might go the opposite. No?
Don't tempt me.
He wants to be different. Right, go ahead, Billy. Go ahead.
I was just gonna say, like, in the beginning, I was mostly confused until I started like reading about it, and then I was like, "Oh, it's made in the 2000s. That kid is still a kid." Okay,
Right.
this is not actually anything to do with old.
Yeah.
Right.
This is like Blair Witch Project. It's like
Right.
see this movie. It was before the Blair Witch Project. It was called The Last Broadcast. That was this little movie, and it was supposedly a true crime documentary about the Jersey Devil, and like they go into really cheap like public access thing. That was a cool little movie. It's not great, it's super indie, super cheap, but I remember really liking it as a kid because this is a different approach to storytelling. I sort of had to reset my expectations for this one, and I kind of had the same thing. I was like, okay, all right, I now see what you guys are doing.
You rolled with it.
Let me see. Yeah, and I'll roll with it. But yeah, right from the opening shot that's super close on the dog's nose and it pulls back.
Yeah.
You can't get that in the 70s.
No, that was like, it was like, this is 70s style.
Yeah.
No. Go ahead.
But I mean, what you were saying about how it's just kind of an auteur's like fever dream about the 70s, that's one of the things that actually kind of pulled me into it a little bit was the unsettling nature of it, like the unreality of it. I was kind of like, yeah, all right, I'll see what you're doing. Exactly.
Billy, I'm on your wavelength, Billy. I'm on your wavelength.
Yeah, I fully expected to hate it. I will tell you, I fully expected to come out of this being like, this is utter trash, and I did not land there.
Okay. All right. So we're gonna get into it here. So I'm watching it. Well, actually, to bounce off what you guys said, fake documentaries are a thing. Fake documentaries are popular. Fake, film documentaries are popular. There's so many of these skinwalker werewolf.
Right.
I seen the werewolf up the street and it looked into my eyes.
But they kind of.
And I was scared shitless, but no shit came out. And then I ran for my life, and then it went into the church, and then and people eat it up because some people they just want to have fun. Some people think it's real, and some people enjoy it because it's silly and fun. And they're like, "Hey, I love werewolves. I'll watch these type of fake documentaries. They're popular." So I'm like, okay, maybe that's what's going on here. This fake documentary film thing. I'm like, okay, but it still has to be entertaining in some way.
Yeah,
it still has to be fun at least. So we're gonna get to my boredom, and then right around the 27-minute mark, I messaged you, Jeff, and Billy.
I loved it.
So
I couldn't wait for it.
I was like just slow. So let's talk about the plot a little bit. Go ahead and tell everybody the plot, Billy, and then we'll get into it.
Yeah. Okay. So it starts out. There's a dog being put down. Very sad. There's a little kid crying over the dog, and then as they're driving away, his mom says, "Damn, the dog's in hell because he was a bad dog."
like, dude,
Jesus, that's fucking brutal. Okay.
Yeah.
But then this poor little kid has this crazy vision.
Yeah, your dog's in hell. It's the greatest setup, dude.
Yeah, your dog is in hell.
It makes no sense, but I love it.
Worse.
Mom, every little kid knows all dogs go to heaven.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah, it's an inversion, bro.
Exactly.
Come on, this level, bro.
But yeah, so then his big sister feels bad for him, and so she takes him out to the middle of the woods, and the plan is they're going to dig a hole to hell to free the dog's soul.
Right, to redeem the dog and stuff.
Right.
Like that.
Can I ask a question real quick, guys? Just maybe it's a little too soon I don't mean to cut it off, but they're digging the hole, right?
Yeah.
Why are they walking around so much?
Exactly.
Okay, that wasn't just me. I was like,
no.
What? Okay.
I guess you have to assume the more they dig, they're there in the next level or whatever. But before the big reveal later of the sister, her intentions, you don't get that till way later. What, 45 minutes?
Oh, wait.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So I thought, oh, the sister's fucking psycho.
Yeah.
Me too.
I was writing down like,
why is she like kind of like
kids know about
we can
the
do
rules
this?
of hell?
I was buying that dream
Why
shit.
does you know the rules of hell so well?
Exactly, dude.
They also put a note in there that was like, all of the drawings in this book looked like they were done off screen 5 minutes before with a blue pen. Like, that's such a weird choice.
It was bizarre. Yeah. It wasn't even like it was a
I thought
old
he's like, let me just jot this down from memory. Hold on a second.
I thought, something else nefarious was going to happen with the sister because the way she was acting and
me too.
Like this whole thing. But then it's later revealed their intentions.
That was a red herring.
So right around the 27-minute mark, up to that point, I was like disappointed that it was fake. But then I was like, all right, fake documentaries, fake movies are popular. Let me see if there's at least some entertainment I can have out of it. And it was just slow. And I'm down with the slow burn, but it can't be boring. There's a difference between slow burn and boring. Yeah. And I'm like, all right, let me just see we're just walking around the woods, son. Antrum, Walking Around the Woods, the movie, right? And then at the 27-minute mark, she goes, hey, what's the name of the kid? Fuck it, kid. Hey, kid. Look over there. Nathan. Yeah. Nathan, look, there's a demon over there. We're succeeding. We're getting deeper into hell now. Look, there's a demon over there looking at us. Look, wave your stick wand at it. Let's shoo it away. And it cuts to this.
Bro, it's the greatest show. Well, that's what I was like, dude. We're in a fever dream, dude. This is look at
cuts to
a stuffed squirrel. They taxidermied like a fucked up squirrel.
Well, it was what you call it? It seemed like it was kind of claymation-esque.
Yeah, it was
like stop motion.
Stop motion. Yeah, and I couldn't stop laughing, and I texted Billy and Jeff right away. I was like, dude, I can't stop laughing. This is hilarious. So after this reveal, and of course they chased the squirrel away.
Yeah,
I was like, please, movie, give me more of this.
Yeah.
I was like, if you're gonna be fake, but hopefully you're entertaining, I want more batshit insanity out of nowhere, which could lead to comedy, which could lead to entertainment.
Yeah.
Right. Maybe in a so bad it's so good way, right? I was like, please give me more. And then we had another scene later where they come across this random Japanese guy trying to commit seppuku.
Dude, what a
and that was so bizarre too. That he's trying to kill himself and then he just won't because they're just watching. You think the sister will be like covering their brother's eyes or something. But he's like,
dream. I was literally like, what is
what's happening? Yeah.
He's like, get away from me. I'm trying
I thought they were going to do a thing like he's like a spirit, you know what I mean? Like, I thought they were going that angle at first because it was just so random. And in the way they described it on the subtitles, that I was watching was just Japanese man. And I did notice in towards the beginning they had this like suicide prevention like sign, like don't go into the forest.
Oh, that's right.
And there's that famous forest in Japan where there's like a lot of suicides.
Yeah, there's a horrible.
So I thought maybe that was the connection they were going.
What? I mean, what does that have to?
But why?
Right. Anyway.
That was the way of like kind of priming us later for the Japanese guy who was showing us that sign in the beginning.
well, you might be close to nailing it, Jeff, about the whole spirit thing, because if they're technically in hell, because he's the same guy that gets boiled later in the
Preston, you're all because everyone who commits suicide goes to hell, you know. Come on, Jesus, bro.
Well, he gets boiled in the. And that was it the Astaroth? Is it no? What was it? Is it Astaroth? What's the name of the?
It starts with a B.
No, I think it's Astaroth.
Oh, it is.
What the statue made of Astaroth? He gets boiled. The
Right.
Japanese guy gets boiled in that later.
Oh yeah,
that could be his hell. Because remember, they're in hell.
Yeah.
National Park is where they're at. So
wilderness.
Well, it was so bizarre because he just gave up.
Wilderness is hell.
Yeah. It was so bizarre because he just gave up. He's like, fuck it. You guys are watching me. You ruined it. And then he just walks off. And I'm like,
you ruined my suicide.
I was like, give me more batshit insanity because this is fucking kind of entertaining me now. But then unfortunately nothing else happens, and we'll get to just more of it. But I will give the little kid some credit as an actor here. You know how I am with child actors. You know how I am. But he acted like a kid would really act.
He didn't
in these situations.
No, not at all.
Especially, he had a really scene at the end where he was crying. He was a pretty good performer. I mean, he acted like a kid. He didn't act like an adult that had adult type dialogue that knew everything and all this bullshit. He acted like a child who was confused, who trusted his sister and was just like, "What the hell is going on?" What is the name of the hell dogs? It's the Cerebus, right?
Yeah.
Oh God, when he sees the chain move and he freaks out, and he can't stop screaming, "Cerebus, Cerebus, I saw it, Cerebus." He can't because he's poor kid,
Poor sister's like, if there's a Cerberus out there, shut up. Stop screaming.
But I wanted more of not just the batshit insanity. I wanted more of this.
Yeah.
When you had this only happened, I think, twice. When you would have this random inserts of something evil staring into your soul, that makes you go. When I saw that when the first time I saw that, I was like, "Oh, okay, here we go. Maybe something interesting might happen or later."
Yeah.
But then you get all these random inserts from clearly another movie. I feel with this couple getting tortured. I feel like, hey, we don't have enough time. We got to pad this movie. We got to pad this movie with something. Throw in this random shit, and you notice in the beginning of the movie, they bullshit the extra footage.
Right.
The copy we have, footage. Yeah, the copy we have, the film reel, the copy we have, quite possibly could have been altered by a third party. So if you see extra stuff that's not a part of the movie, it's not our doing, it's a third party doing. But even those extra scenes where this random couple's getting tortured, I was just
what the fuck was that all about?
Okay.
Yeah.
Can you, I want, when a movie promises disturbing, I want disturbing. Again, we have potential. Let's get some more crazy shit. All that old footage that they were showing earlier of from the old the silent film era with this wonderful, amazing images of hell and demons doing crazy shit of those old silent film movies. It was just amazing how they were able to do those effects back then. I was so happy watching stuff like that. Yeah. And I was just like, man, I wish I was watching those movies instead of this movie. But let's continue. Jeff, go ahead and talk about it. Like this shot right here, I was like, okay,
that was good.
Let's see where this goes.
I think what you're getting at, Preston, is this movie had. Look, I think there was some effective horror in this film. I just think it was super unbalanced. You know what I mean? It's like some of the production value in certain scenes. It was like, what the fuck is this? Like, who shot? Like, was this just a different director or something? Yeah. And then you'd see another one. You'd be like, okay, that's a really nice shot. That's a really nice, good act, decent acting here, and I'm engaged. But then, of course, then the next one, you're like, well, what the fuck is this? So I think, like the shot you showed right now, that was one of those ones where I was like, okay, that's pretty freaky.
Yeah, we needed more of that. Yeah, but I get it. This movie's probably really low budget, and they could have ran out of money. They could have ran out of time.
I think that's what. Honestly, I think it was probably a money thing.
But even with no budget movies, there has to be some level of entertainment. There's got to be something in there instead of kids just walking around.
I think it was trying to be an A24 movie.
You think?
You know what I mean? Yeah, like having that kind of just atmospheric horror. Trying to get that, and it was just. But you need a real consistent production value throughout the film to keep the same tone, and and
at least consistency.
Consistency
because it was you're right, it was very uneven and unbalanced, and that I felt that too for sure, because there would be some moments like that shot of the demon there in the dark and staring at you, it's really unsettling. It sits on it for a minute.
That's why I was like, all right. You got to love the disturbing imagery in movies, and Samurai Guy's like, honestly, all right. All right, let's see what happens here. But
But when we get to the scene, look, I think the best set piece in the film was that should have been in there more, which was that where they cook the
cannibals
Japanese guy and where they that whole sequence. I love that set piece. You know what I mean? I thought the shot of him walking through it was completely gratuitous. I was like, why is this here? Just cut to her in the cage. But that was just a little nitpick. But
hey, Astaroth's packing here.
Dude, but bro, that was creepy to me, dude. When they showed the guy fucking the goat, the dead goat, while he's like burning in there, I was like, okay, bro, this is getting okay. We're in a real fucking freaky horror movie. You know what I mean? I actually was like kind of stoked at that point. Like, okay, there's going to be more of this. But
you know why you were stoked, Jeff?
Why?
Because something was happening.
Exactly. I know. Well, I was putting myself in a situation of like, okay, now, because now it was like, okay, the humans are the real villains in this story. You know what I mean? It's like these devil worshipping fucking weirdos. You know what I mean? Out in the middle of nowhere.
Kill that bitch, Leatherface.
And basically,
get that bitch, Leatherface.
Texas Chainsaw Massacre. You know what I mean? Yeah, man, that was freaky because I was putting myself in that situation, like being stuck in an oven. Like, you know what I mean? Just like, damn, dude, this is a brutal way to go. How the fuck are they going to get out?
It was a real torture device in the old days. I don't know. It was something about it was like a big bowl.
Yeah.
And they would boil them in front of a crowd inside.
Right?
And the smoke would come out of the nostrils of the bowl.
Yeah.
Oh,
it's crazy, dude.
No, dude. Well, but here's that fever dream part where like it just didn't work because it's like, what, she's just kicking herself out of the cage? Nobody's paying attention to this. Like, I didn't quite like, even her escape felt lazy. Right. Like, there were just certain things that were dealt with in there.
Pretty much all of the like action moments, like the things really happening, like frantic stuff. I was left like kind of like, wait, what happened? What just happened? Oh, the gun fell and it fired, and then it charged. I was like, did someone get shot? What happened? Oh, nothing happened.
Right.
Okay.
It seemed like they both got shot.
They
both got shot, and then they were fine later.
And then they're fine. Yeah, she's okay. Kick her way out. Yeah, so a lot of that stuff, I was kind of like,
I was laughing, by the way, when the kid got shot.
Those are storytelling. Yeah, that's like
because he's holding the stick, trying to ward them away. Yeah. And if he just gets shot, she's like, "Oh my god!" And then she runs and gets shot. I kind of laughed at that. But then they're fine later. But it's this, this is the best compliment that I could give this movie. There was potential. That's the best thing I can say about it.
And I do have a note on that, but yeah.
All I'll say, I've been enjoying Darren's face. Discussion and the silence of not really talking about the movie because he's like, there's not really that much to talk about. But Darren, thoughts? Let's get
it is hard, and it probably makes me a dull sharer to a degree here. But after making The Retaliators, any movie that is low budget, and this movie is definitely low budget, it's just hard for me to really rip it to shreds, because I just am so aware of the limitations and how hard it is. And I agree with you, actually, Samurai, that I actually think there is a lot of potential there, and I think there's good ideas there. I think there's interesting, the structure of the whole piece is interesting, and the warning, and I thought the mockumentary was done well, and it looked realistic, and just even the fact that it fooled, wait, is this real? Is this about a real movie? But yeah, it's just obviously it's hard to know. It certainly was it just too ambitious to take on for the size of budget, and that's probably what it was, because they probably had a lot of things that ultimately suffered, even though there was talent there, certainly. So it's hard, because it's like, I have no problem ripping anything from the past and ripping things that are certainly in a larger budget. But when it's low budget, it's a little harder for me. It's like, because it's just like, I know what it's like. I know how everything is a battle, everything. And it doesn't mean that that's what they necessarily set out to do. But I just honestly, my favorite quote, I think it's been used by many people over the years in different ways. The most recent is Joe Bob Briggs that says, the movie can be anything, just don't be boring, and
exactly.
Right.
Exactly. Because like as we were talking about Howling 7 is just the worst filmmaking, some of the worst filmmaking ever put on celluloid, but it is entertaining frame one to frame end because of just the laughs never stop, the gag. I mean, it's pure entertainment. So it was definitely like, oh boy, the digging, it was the digging. It was a lot of, it was a little hard to sort of just stay engaged, and so I don't know.
Well, I mean, but no,
good effort.
You're always. Oh, look at that! A compliment, Jeff. Good effort.
Hey, okay. There we go. Good effort.
Darren nailed it there. Well said. But the Retaliators was entertaining. You know what I mean? Like Bone Cold was entertaining.
Yeah.
I interviewed Brian Brooks. He did his movie Wrecker. You guys will love Wrecker because it's a genre film. It's an 80s nostalgia genre film, action and horror. Nice. You can watch it for free on YouTube. It's called Wrecker.
Oh, sweet.
Preston, let me get this straight. You're saying our movies were bad, but they were entertaining.
No, I'm talking about the budget.
Making a note right here. Thank you.
I'll take it, dude. If you're watching it, I'll take it. I don't care.
But with Wrecker, he did that entire movie himself. No studio backing anything, his own money, and it took him years. I think he said 9 years. 9 years
that's
to make Wrecker. He built the sets, he painted the walls, he did micrography, he did stunts, he did everything, crash cars. It was such a pleasure to interview him, but I couldn't stop smiling watching his movie.
Yeah,
I reached out to him for him to be on the show. I was loving the self-awareness of it, the funny moments, him doing the hero voice, like it's just great, and again, small budget, of course, compared to the AAA, garbage that's out there, the big budget garbage,
right?
Disappointments, but I was entertained. It was fun. It put a smile on my face. And I was hoping, I was like, okay, if you're not going to give me the batshit insanity, the batshit insanity
all day, give me that.
If you're not going to give me more,
that was probably very expensive to shoot, though.
All the budget went to the squirrel.
Stop motion is not easy.
Damn stop motion.
I wouldn't touch stop motion. Yeah, I wouldn't touch stop motion.
Fuck stop motion.
But I'm like, okay, the movie's not going to give me more of this. I was hoping in a way that you have this serious documentary opening, right?
Yeah. Serious
professional, people died, it's tragic. And then it goes into the movie. I was hoping, and this would have been brilliant, if once the movie starts, it's a comedy. I think that would have been hilarious. The serious setup of all these deaths. Brilliant. And then all three, hilarious. Yeah, it's kind of
set it up like it's gonna be scary.
Yeah,
and it's just
we're warning you. The warnings are up, and then it's actually
it's a comedy, but there's something unsettling about the comedy. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
There's some weird.
That's brilliant.
Throw in there.
That would have been better.
That shot of the demon, he just winks.
Yeah,
No,
I was like a comedy where it's like there's like an incestuous relationship going on that's never like acknowledged as fucking weird. You know what I mean? Like, but it's played as a normal comedy. You know what I mean? Like that would be fucking. And then you tell people at the beginning, this is a cursed movie. You will die.
Right. Yeah. Like you show this. You show this in the beginning. It's all serious, right? It's serious at first.
Yeah.
And then it cuts back to him, and he's like masturbating. And he's like, oh shit, you caught me. Right?
I want everyone in the theater to whip it out. And you're like,
right? Join me.
Well, basically would just
Hell's
be
fire at you.
like Repossessed with Leslie Nielsen, right?
Yeah, yeah. It's
Like that would have been really. We would have forgiven all the low budget to no budget. You know, there's got to be something there. I think what really would have a bigger budget wouldn't have saved this movie. I think what really would have saved Antrum is if the Gear brothers fucking wrote the script and Billy directs.
Okay. I agree, though, Preston. Now, this is no disrespect to the filmmakers, though. I want to make that clear.
Yeah.
I actually liked this movie. I had fun.
All right. It's all right.
I actually didn't find it that boring at all. It kept me kind of like, wait, because I kept wanting to know what the fuck is going on. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And but I will say this though. Because I think they should have lost the entire meta narrative thing of this is a cursed movie. This has been just make Antrum, just make that movie that was in the middle of the movie, and then focus it more on like make it not a fever dream. Like, you know what I mean?
Or make it more a fever dream.
Or make it
weirder. Yeah. I think it did
more, or you take you out.
Yeah, either way.
Yeah, it kind of fell into that weird like nether
liminal
what am
space.
I trying to say? That middle ground.
Liminal space, dude.
It's not David Lynch, you know,
right.
And it's not something that's a lot more straightforward. It's not like a tight narrative. But yeah, I'm with you both in a big way. Like now that I've made a movie that was no budget, you know, I know how hard it is, and I know like a lot of it is probably not what they intended or envisioned at the beginning. Exactly. So like I find myself with movies like this really giving them the benefit of the doubt in a big way.
Yeah.
And with this one, when I kind of readjusted and I realized they were just doing this very slow, like almost like meditation on what was happening, I was like, okay, it's a little like those gothic horrors from like the 60s and 70s, like I worked on the title of it, The Blood on Satan's Claw. Have you ever seen that one? That's really strange and like weird, and it sort of kicked off a lot of folk horror stuff. I was like, all right, we're kind of doing that thing. All right, let me adjust my expectations. But then you drop in stuff like crazy stop motion Mad God Squirrel, and I was like, all right, that's out of left field. That doesn't quite fit. And then you know, we take the turn into, well, first of all, we spend all that time digging, and they're not getting like, just visually, they're not getting that deep. But then we have these chapters that are like different layers of hell. And I understand that's more of a thematic thing, but like that hole is not that you can climb out of that hole.
Yeah.
It's not a big deal. And then there are issues that I had with like just the logistics of it. And I don't usually get bogged down in logistics, but this is two like kids in the middle of the woods. Like, how long are they planning to be there? They don't seem to have brought food, and then they're talking about brushing teeth, and I'm like, how the fuck long are they going to be there? Like, what is the plan here?
Did you know that his sister's feet stunk?
I was just gonna mention that, Billy.
I could smell them through the screen.
Like the brother said that like 8 times.
Yeah.
You gotta wash your feet. I was just like, okay. Like, how smelly are their feet? Is it just for being outside, or did she just have smelly feet? You know.
Either way, do we need to devote 2 pages of dialogue?
Yes.
Right.
The argument of
exactly.
Yeah.
I also think, here's the thing though. See, I think they should have taken that documentary portion and did like a fake news thing about it, and like run it as like, oh, this is a push out to the press that this was a real story somewhere. Kind of, you know, kind of Cannibal Holocaust style. Like, don't have any of the actors appear in public or something. You know what I mean? Like, they're fucking dead or something.
That would have been a really cool marketing campaign. I mean, that's essentially what got us to watch it, was this idea that there was a haunted movie. And I feel like there's an immediate bullshit detector when it's like this haunted movie that burned down a theater and killed all these people, available for free on Tubi. It's not true.
But
available on Freevee, and
like, you could have done some nefarious, like, I don't know, like disguise a Wikipedia entry, or like manipulate certain things to like, oh, this shit might have happened, and they're, you know, create a kind of weird conspiracy thing around it.
Yeah,
right.
They could have had a lot of fun with the marketing on it, like, and then just played the movie, because as soon as I'm watching the beginning in the documentary, I'm like, well, I know this is a mockumentary now. Like, you know what I mean? Like, as opposed to if you just showed me a movie and it actually looked kind of like it came out of the 70s. I think that could have really fucked with
that's what I'm saying. Mockumentary, horror comedy.
Yeah,
that would have been brilliant, man.
Yeah, that's a cool. I like that angle. Oh, you're over there.
Yeah,
I like that.
I love how when the movie ends, they're all like, "You have survived. You have survived." Antrum.
I actually took a picture of that. I took a picture of that, and I want to put that on a T-shirt. You have watched Antrum in its entirety.
Actually, that sounds like something Jeff would do.
On the back, but my buddy died of boredom. You know what I
mean? Oh my goodness! But I think when it got to the scene where she finally was revealing and explaining to her brother what's really going on, and then I actually was kind of paying attention. I was like, okay, that's interesting.
I actually really liked that switch because it made it a really human story all of a sudden. Like I didn't expect it to have that weight to it. And I was like, oh, I actually understand a lot about this now, because a lot of the stuff that I was writing, the notes that I had, or like the nitpicks that I had, I was like, oh, that explains literally all of them.
It was kind of like a key that turned it, like where the key was like a real human story. And I think if you were going to do it,
interesting.
I think if you were going to redo the film, it's like that's the human story. That's the heart of it. And I feel like they were meandering around it, and then you get that scene, and you're like, oh, okay, this is actually good.
Yeah, I was paying attention. I was like, all right. You have to suspend your disbelief a little bit for her drawing these ridiculously detailed poster pictures and making this ridiculously detailed book just for the going out in the woods.
It's like an 800 book.
It's like, she goes all out for her brother here with the detail.
I do that with my little sister, you know, her dog dies. I'm going to take her out to the woods and pretend, you know, we're going to dig it out of hell.
Get a shovel.
Manual labor.
And again, going back to what Jeff was saying during all of this, I was like, okay, my interest is peaked around this time, because I'm like, let's see what happens, where this goes. I actually, believe it or not, this is another compliment of getting this movie. I kind of dug the ending, the bleak, dark ending where they're still in hell, they're still trapped. There's no way out. You can hint that she probably accidentally shot her brother, thinking it was a Cerebus. I was like, all right, I like that part, because I was just kind of like, you know, these stupid dumbass kids, let's dig our way to hell to save the dog. I was like, all right, you guys deserve to be here anyway. But you know, there's even the woods aspect. I could kind of forgive it a little bit, because hell could look like anything.
Right.
You know, have you seen what was the French horror movie? Well, set in France, where they went in the tunnels. They were
as above.
Well, Preston, hell is other people, as Sartre has taught us.
There you go. What was it, Billy?
I think
was it As Above, So Below?
Yeah.
Oh, you might be right. Actually, I've never seen either, so I don't know.
Yeah, that was an interesting take on hell. It wasn't big budget,
right?
But it was interesting take on it. And then you have there was this Finnish horror. I think it was Finnish horror movie that's on Netflix. Very fascinating. But that was like horror fantasy visual spectacle version of hell when they end up at hell at the end of the movie. So hell could look like anything.
Yeah.
But
I
if you go too literal, sorry, Darren.
Go ahead, Darren.
Yeah, I was just going to say, for a really good example of a minimalist movie that looks like it was shot in the 70s. The music, the credits, the grain, I mean, note for note, and that's The House of the Devil, Ty West.
Yeah.
Such a good movie.
There you go.
And I think part of the magic sauce with that movie is the simplicity. It's such a simple movie and simple story. And that's what I think kind of the essence is that if you're going to go that bold, low budget, and try to truly, I mean, it's hard to recreate you want to make a movie look like a grimy 70s movie for real. You know, I think that's kind of the way to do it. That's a fantastic film.
Yeah.
Yes, and another, I think Jeff mentioned it, or you were talking about stuff like that. But the potential when you get to the big reveal, we're paying attention. I'm actually paying attention now to the movie. The brother even says, which made it more interesting. He was like, "Oh yeah, I met the guy. I met the guy that you show in your book," and they flash back to the brother just playing, and Astaroth is hanging out behind the trash can.
Yeah,
and he goes over to the brother and he warns. See more of that.
Yes,
but unfortunately, we go back to just walking in the woods and nothing happening, and a lot of.
Oh yeah,
I didn't like that at the end. I thought it was corny. I thought it was a corny way to end it. I was like, "Come on, guys, just cut the cord. Just don't give me this fucking cheese ball."
You know,
and the dog gets saved. Throw that before we forget to mention that. The dog gets redeemed.
Oh, it kind of does, yeah.
Yeah.
It's more like thematic than anything, but like
right with the dog that shows up. Is that you were talking about?
Yeah, or he
wasn't the same dog. I thought that was his
wasn't
dog.
the same dog.
Really?
The dog that was at the camp, I think.
Oh, okay.
And it got caught in a trap, and so like, thematically, he rescues his dog and sets this dog free from hell.
Right.
But,
I'm telling you, Gear Brothers need to write it, and Billy needed to direct it.
I'd be down.
I'm there for it.
If the filmmakers let us, after they hear this, they might not.
I know.
Fuck these guys. I watched.
Hey, I guarantee you.
Invite them on to do our movies.
It's only fair, Preston. It's only fair.
I guarantee you, though.
I'll take it.
I guarantee you, though. I'm pretty sure if you go to any other reviews for this movie, this stream right here is probably the most positive things we're talking about.
Oh, really?
I guarantee you do.
Okay.
I would genuinely
other
love.
Reviews, they probably were like, "This is an F-." Fuck this movie.
I would not give this F-.
There's a lot of positives being mentioned here. Despite what we
I honestly, at the end of it, I went, I liked it. I liked what they did. Like,
look
I
at that.
See what they're doing. Yeah.
Look
so
at
I
that.
would love to have a conversation with them to be like, hey, what did you have to fucking slog through to get this movie made? Because
there's a story.
Yeah,
you can tell.
Like, yeah,
there's
for me, like
behind the movie,
exactly. And for me, like with movies like this, it always falls flat, like script level. Like there's just stuff like you can't just have them digging a hole; they have to be doing stuff. Or if they're just digging a hole, it's got to have some sort of structure to it. Like, what are they doing? What exactly are their goals? What are the challenges that they're doing? And it doesn't have to be like super cookie cutter, like cut and paste, whatever. But you got to have a sense of momentum, even if it's slow building. That's like the only thing for me is make some of that clearer in the beginning as to where we're headed, and then it's kind of cool because at the end of the day, I really do like a story about they're trying to dig their dog up from hell. These kids, and the older sister was lying, but they're messing around with the devil. They're in the middle of a pentagram, and fuck around and find out, you know, like you unleash that, and then it makes it real.
I hope you're happy. We're all talking positive about this movie now. I hope you're happy, sir.
I think you take out all the supernatural.
Are you proud of yourself, Jeff?
I think what you do is you tell the story from the kid's point of view, and he's kind of like just kid imaginationing a lot of the horror stuff.
Yeah.
And this is a forest that's like notorious or like for being haunted by the devil. And like nobody ventures out there, and it's really those two fucking weird dudes just up there burning people like suicide victims or something. You know what I mean? I think that would be really.
Darren's face.
Darren's all.
You just see my feet dangling like airplane style.
Hey, this is all hypothetical, man.
Preston, you know what I mean? Like I'm my feet are swinging. Suicide Forest style.
Well, no, I mean, sometimes
I think there's a good film here.
There you go. There's a good film in there.
It's in there.
Sometimes
I think they're promising. I actually do think they're promising filmmakers because I think it was two guys.
Yeah.
Right?
I hope they watch this movie. I hope they watch this episode. I hope they watch it.
Yeah, me too.
I hope they know that I've got respect for them.
Me too. I'm gonna give a 1.5. I'm gonna maybe like this. That's kind of like one of these.
Yeah.
I mean? I got at least one thumb up, and the other one.
Yeah, I'll end the stream with this because I gotta go. Unfortunately.
Oh yeah.
And I gotta wash my feet too. So before it's important. It's important.
Where can we see Bone Cold? I want to know where we can watch Bone Cold.
Yeah,
so right now it's on Peacock and it's on Amazon Prime for free, and then next week on the next week it jumps to Tubi. On March 13th, it's exclusively on Tubi. Or you could be super old school, get it on Blu-ray and DVD,
like me.
Oh, dude. What platform would you prefer we watch it on?
Ooh,
you don't want to watch it with commercials.
Yeah,
you know, with ads.
Get a Blu-ray. It looks really good on Blu-ray, I will say.
Okay, I'll do it.
What about the Retaliators?
We're on
Blu-ray.
We're
on Blu-ray.
I bought that too.
Yeah, pretty similar. We're on Amazon Prime. We're on Amazon Prime for free. We're on Tubi for free, and we've got the Blu-ray in Best Buys and on Amazon. Pretty much anywhere online. Yeah.
There you go. Everybody watching, you know where to go. You know what to do. Make sure you check out both films. But I will end it. Tonight was an epic conversation. I love talking movies with these guys. We will continue to do so. But I'll end it with this. Sometimes, even though we were actually positive on some things of Antrum, sometimes wasted potential for me is worse than a bad movie being utter trash. Yeah. Sometimes that hurts more, it affects me more because after I got done watching the movie, I was like, Jesus Christ! But I kept thinking about it.
Stuck with you.
Yeah, and only kind of I was like, man, if they just could have tweaked that, they just could have did this, you know. So sometimes wasted potential is a lot hurts more for me. But hey, it's on Tubi. If you guys are curious, you know, both of these films are on Tubi. And check it out. Check it out for yourselves. You know, let us know what you guys thought of Antrum. Utter trash, garbage. What the fuck were they thinking? They were on drugs.
Either way, you will die.
Or you will die of boredom, or whatever. No, you won't die.
I just want to make the audience aware of this. I've already bought the rights up. Sorry, for the band name Demon Squirrel. So I don't want to. You will be hearing from my attorneys if I see that out there.
I love it. I love it. I love it.
And I just want to say, I love that we live in a world where Point Blank, Antrum, Bone Cold, and the Retaliators are all on Tubi at the exact same time.
Woo!
Yeah.
Be alive.
Yeah.
Good time to be alive.
Yes. Hey, that's what it's all about, man. And you know, my channel, doing my thing, spreading the word. And I love talking movies. That's what the podcast is all about and the channel is all about. But if this was a versus, you know, the winner would be yeah. But yeah, thanks again for watching, guys. Subscribe and follow these. Well, if you enjoyed yourself, subscribe to the old Samurai Guy. But hey, get us to 30,000 subs. But more importantly, click on the links below. Follow Billy Handsome on Instagram and the model Darren, the model Gear. Follow him as well, and Jeff the Legend Gear. Follow him as well on Instagram, and continue to follow them on their filmmaking.
At the Gear Brothers.
At the Gear Brothers, yeah. Continue to follow them on their filmmaking journey. Links are there. Just click on it and follow these guys. And stay tuned for the next Yin-Yang. If you're a channel member, you're going to find out before anyone else, weeks in advance, what the next episodes will be.
This is the Yin-Yang dance, dude.
Yeah, we're going to talk about it right after.
It's going to be Antrum again.
We love this movie now.
No.
This is the greatest movie ever made.
Again,
that'll be the name of the video. Antrum again.
It'll be Thief and Antrum. I got it. We're all going to make the sequel together. It's going to be called Antrum ... again with a question mark.
Antrum Revisited. Oh my goodness! But hey, this is what this channel is all about: having fun, talking movies. Love you guys. You guys don't go anywhere, but you guys watching, I'll see you guys on the next one. A lot of more awesome podcast guests and episodes next week. That's what the channel is all about. Take care. Keep watching movies. I'll see you on the next one, guys. Yeah! Yeah! Wow! Wow!